how can I forget to tell y'all? I almost lost my... Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Hey. With that being said, I would love for you guys to press that subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you guys won't miss when I post. To get right into this video, you guys should know that I'll be telling you guys the story about how I got pregnant after my very first abortion. Timeline: December 21st, 2020. I was out with my mom and my brother. We were going to get food, and I was just like feeling kind of sick and stuff, and I was like really irritable. My mom noticed it, my brother noticed it, and my mom was just like, what's going on, like, you know? So mind you, I actually missed my period. I was waiting on my period. So before we got home, we got a pregnancy test, you know, just to check, just to make sure. And when I got home, I took it, and it was positive. It was a positive test, and I was just like in shock. I was in shock for real, because that was my first time being pregnant. Oh yeah, that was my first time being pregnant in 3 whole years, because my son is 4. So I was never pregnant other than the time I had him. So it took me a whole 3 years to get pregnant. I did not think I could get pregnant again. I don't know why, what would make me think that, but it didn't happen. So I'm just like thinking like, oh, you know, maybe I can't get pregnant. So that wasn't really a thought in my mind. I'm just thinking that my period is late. So after finding out that the test was positive, I spoke to my mom, and my mom was like, what are we doing? Like, what do you want to do? I was just, how are you feeling? Like I said, I was in shock. I was emotional. I was feeling a lot of things. So I didn't like make a decision like right then and there. Like, it took me time. So fast forward, like I said, it took me time. So I actually waited like till I was like 3 months, which is like sad. I waited till like I was 3 months. Wow. 12 weeks, and I got the abortion then. Whew. So when I got the abortion, mind you, this is my first abortion. I'm, you know, going through the process and everything, and it seems like, okay, you know, go to the clinic, get it done, go home, rest, you know. That's what I'm thinking. So went through the process, went home. I was feeling okay. I was having cramping and stuff. I was cramping, but it wasn't like really severe. It was not bad. So the next day came. I was still cramping a little bit, but the following day came. So I believe this is like day 3 or something. It was either day 2 or day 3 after the abortion. I could not walk longer. It was horrible. I had to like crunch my body over and walk to the bed like that. And I was bleeding. I was bleeding a lot, and I couldn't get out the bed. I was taking Tylenols. Not too many, but I was taking them because I didn't feel like they were helping. Mind you, I was in the bed till midnight. That night, I went to the hospital because I called my mom while she was out. She's like, how are you feeling? And I'm like, I'm still in a lot of pain. It was just horrible. It felt like labor, no joke. For real. And I'm like, what the hell? I know for sure that I'm not supposed to feel like this. What the hell is going on? So I asked my mom, like, why? Like, you know, what's going on? She's like, that's not right. We gotta just go to the hospital. I was hot as hell. I had a fever. I had a migraine. It was like terrible. Mind you, I get migraines, but that migraine was different. My sight was getting blurry. It was crazy. Like, it was really bad. So I went to the hospital that night. They tested me for COVID. I didn't have COVID, so that wasn't the reason I had a fever. They ended up doing an ultrasound to check, because I told them that I just had an abortion. They looked through the ultrasound. They saw parts and fragments of the pregnancy still inside of my uterus. Y'all, I started crying and I was so sad. Oh my God, I really was crying. Like, I'm like, the hell? Why would they do this to me? What the hell was these doctors doing? Like, you're in a professional medical practice. You should be doing your job correctly, safe. And like, okay, we gotta hurry up and rush her into the emergency surgery. Like, you know, I had to get another abortion. They call it an emergency DNC. So that's what I had to get, a scraping. They had to take out everything that was left. So from that, I was just like, oh my God, I was so scared. Here I am at the surgery, the operating room. So I'm at the operating room. They're preparing me. I get on the table. I lay on the table. The nurses and the doctors were there. They were calming me down. The doctor was rubbing my hands. He was really nice. He put the IV in my arm, and they were just basically preparing. So as I'm laying there, I'm just like praying to God. I'm just like, God, please just let this go like it's supposed to. Let this be it. I don't want to go through any of this again. To myself, I'm just sitting there like, I will never get an abortion again. Like, what are the chances that somebody's first abortion, they have to go through this? Like, what are the chances, for real? Like, that's crazy. The doctor's talking to me, and as he's talking to me, my vision starts going out. The anesthesia started trickling through my body. End up, you know, going to sleep. I woke up and I was in the bed, recovery area, obviously. And I wake up and my mom's standing right there. She's standing right over me. She's like telling me that I'm fine, that, you know, everything is done, not to worry. She's like asking me how I'm feeling. I was letting her know I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling fine. I actually was feeling better that time than when I got the original abortion, because when I did get the original abortion, I woke up and I was in like pain. I'm just like, I'm pretty sure it shouldn't feel like this, but I'm thinking, okay, it's just cramping because I just had a whole, you get what I'm saying? I just had a whole pregnancy removed out of my body. I'm like asking the doctor before I even get into the abortion. I know I went back, but I just want to let y'all know this. So I was asking the doctor, I'm like, where does the, like, you know, the baby goes after being suctioned out? And he's like, oh, we don't really disclose that information. So I'm like, okay, whatever. There was only one doctor. There was a bunch of nurses standing around me. It just felt kind of funny because I'm like, why is there one doctor and there's mad girls and he's trying to get all of these girls out? Like, they're like moving fast. You get what I'm saying? He's gonna have to do something wrong. I thought about that to myself after, but I'm thinking he knows what he's doing, so there shouldn't be a problem. So I get out and this, but like I said, I was just expecting that I would be in some type of pain, so that's why I didn't think too much of it. Fast forward, when I got out of the operating room for the emergency DNC, I was with my mom, so they transferred me to the ICU. I was in there for like a few days. They had me hooked up to these machines and stuff like that. I had to take a lot of antibiotics for those few days. I was smelling like a bag of vitamins. How can I forget to tell y'all? I almost lost my uterus. The doctors came in that morning. The next morning after I had the emergency DNC, after I was in my room, they're gonna come to me like, oh, if you didn't come earlier, I mean, if you would have came later, then we would have had to remove your uterus because the infection would have grown. I could have even had a heart attack. It was that bad. That was a real life-changing experience. Like, hearing those words, I started crying right then and there again. I'm just like, I cannot take all of this. Like, this is really crazy. What did I do to deserve all of this? I'm just happy that I came when I did, because who knows what actually would have happened if I didn't, you know? After that, I'm like, Mom, we gotta call a lawyer. And she calls her lawyer, because we have a lawyer. And he's just like, he wants to, like, you know, he wants me to heal first. He wants me to heal first. There has to be a permanent problem. All I have to do is take the antibiotics, and then I would just be cleared from any infection, from, you know, any. Being in the hospital is miserable. Like, miserable. Nobody wants to eat no hospital food every day. breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Even though my mom brought me food, like my mom was there every single day. She was next to me, she was by my side. She did not leave me for nothing, okay? I had a night nurse, and she did not know what she was doing. The same IV in me for a few days, it broke off inside of my vein, and now my vein is so, like, it's messed up. Like, I can't even get a needle in this vein anymore. I just wanted to be cleared to go home. After being discharged, time went by. I went home, obviously, and I was healing. I was feeling much better. I was getting back to myself. Thank God, amen. Fast forward May, but we're gonna backtrack again. November is when I got pregnant. December is when I found out I was pregnant. February is when I had the abortion, because I was 3 months. So I found out in December, January, February. So I was already a month in December. So 3 months in February, March, April, May. 3 months after my abortion, with the whole situation, 3 months after that abortion, I end up missing my period again. I took a pregnancy test, and it was fading red line, pinkish kind of. It was appearing. So I'm like, what does that mean? Like, I'm like, is this a positive test? Is this a positive test? And so I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna just wait it out, wait a few more days, let it get stronger, because you know your beta goes up every 2 days, it doubles or something like that. So I just waited another 2 or 3 days. I took another pregnancy test, and the lines were there. The lines were there. Like, I was very, very, very happy. I know that's kind of weird, because I just had an abortion, and I had the choice not to go with a termination. I had a few regrets after that abortion. Feeling guilty a lot. Like, I was just feeling too many things. That's where, like I said, May, I took a pregnancy test, and it was positive. I told my boyfriend, and he was like scared. He was scared. But I'm just like letting him know, like, this is what I'm doing. I'm keeping my baby. I'm keeping the baby. I'm not getting an abortion, because I don't want to go through that again. I'm not putting myself through that again. There's no I don't want to, nothing. I was not. I ended up going to the doctor, and I think I went to the doctor May 28th or something. I believe it was May 28th. From there, she told me, based on the last period that I had before the missed one, that my due date would be January 18th. January 11th is my son's birthday. So I'm like, okay, so we're gonna have another Capricorn. Woo, woo, woo. Ultrasound appointment set up, and time was going by, so I was expecting that I was 11 weeks, because I was keeping track since my doctor told me that my due date was this day. So I'm just like, okay, yay, so I'll be 11 weeks. I should see something on the ultrasound. So we get there, and COVID was not allowing nobody to be in the room, no nothing. So I had to go in alone. Mind you, I went with my boyfriend. He comes everywhere with me. I had the sonogram. The lady ends up telling me that I'm only 9 weeks. I was so mad. I'm just like, I'm just gonna forget that I'm even pregnant. I'm gonna just let time go by, because I want to see my baby. I was so happy, and I was really excited. So that's the only reason why I was upset, but nothing else. It was nothing else. Just a brief summary. My pregnancy went well. My pregnancy was beautiful. I had a gender reveal. I didn't have a baby shower though. I was really tired a lot. Like, I slept a lot. I just slept and ate my pregnancy away, literally. It was good. Basically, January came. I was so excited. I'm looking forward to my son's birthday, because his birthday is January 11th, and my due date is January 31st. So I was like getting a lot of pains and stuff, and I would like go to the hospital just to check, and I was actually dilated a centimeter. I was dilated a centimeter January 3rd. So that's what, 3 weeks before my due date. So I'm like, how am I dilated already, you know? I was like, yes, my baby's coming. She's almost here. She's almost ready. She's getting ready, okay? So basically the next 2 weeks we're in January from the 7th to the 12th. That's the time frame we're gonna be in right now, okay? January 7th I actually went to the hospital and I thought I was gonna have her, but it was like false. It was like false labor. It was false labor. They actually gave me an injection in my arm to mature her lungs because she would be like kind of preterm, but not really preterm. I just wasn't 37 weeks yet. Once you get 37 weeks, that's basically considered full term. So I was in the hospital and I'm just like, I have to wait in here for a whole day. I was extremely uncomfortable. Extremely uncomfortable. So I'm just like, please just let me go home. If I'm not having a baby, let me go home if I'm not about to have the baby. So I was discharged. Thank God I was discharged, y'all. And I went home and that's when I'm like, yeah, it's time to prepare now. So I just started changing my room around. I started putting all the baby stuff out because I'm like, now it literally could be any day because your centimeters can jump at any time. You know, it's according to the baby when she wants to come. So yeah, we just prepared, and January 10th, that's the day before my son's birthday, I had gone to see my doctor and I'm like, she's checking me and she's like, 2 more centimeters and you're gonna be in the hospital about to have the baby. So I'm just like, what do I do for that to happen? Yeah, okay. She was like, walk. I walked for the rest of the day. My back was killing me. It was aching bad. So I went home, gave my son a nice hug and a kiss, told him I love him and everything. On our way to the hospital, because I was having pains, I basically went into labor. I went to Dwayne Reed with my mom on Court Street and we got some castor oil because I've watched videos and people say that it works, and I've seen, you know, some videos and it's real. So I took that and I only took a spoon of it. I still have the whole container. I only took a spoon of it and it worked. It put me, you know, it's time. So we already had the baby backpack because like I told you guys, I already started setting stuff up after I left the hospital. That time I already had stuff set up. I was like, yeah, it's time. The doctor is like, well, we can keep you and we can induce you because you're already there, or you can just walk until you go into full active labor. Went there prepared with my stuff, so I'm just like, I'm not leaving. So I'm like, can you guys keep me? So they kept me. They transferred me to the room. They set me up. It was nice clean room. It was big, spacious. My mom had her own spot. My boyfriend had his spots. It was just us three. It gave me Pitocin, I think. Pitocin. It made my contractions come. I was doing so well. Literally, I was doing so well. Yo, y'all would not believe I got the epidural at like 7-8 centimeters. I was dilated that much. And then I got it because I was getting in, like, the pains were kind of getting unbearable, but I went that far without an epidural. After I got the epidural, I slept. This was a fast and easy labor. The doctor came in like, we're gonna put the balloon inside to expand you. When she went to go check, the baby's head was coming out. Y'all, I have pictures, like, no lie. I was asleep while my daughter's head was coming out. That's how comfortable I was. Like, I was literally, like, I was chilling. I was good. I'm like, and it's so crazy because my mom had just left. She went downstairs to go get some food, and because she's thinking like, okay, it's gonna be a little longer, and we call her like, Ma, you gotta come back up, it's time. So she rushes up, comes upstairs, and I start pushing. I was like, am I pushing? Like, they're like, yes, one more push. I pushed her out in 2 pushes. I'm really elite. Like, I'm like that, okay? Yeah. I prepared myself so much, and I like was so scared when I thought about labor. Like, I would get anxiety thinking about it. And whole time I had her on Dylan's birthday, January 11th. So my babies were born the same day. It was so beautiful. I didn't do that on purpose because I wanted my kids to have separate birthdays, but at the same time I really just wanted to get it over with. So that wasn't my objective, to have them the same day. It just happened. Long story short, that was a very safe, easy labor. Perfect. And I was out the hospital the next day. I went home the next day. And the day after that, I was at the doctor's office. Like, my body was able to get around. Everything was perfect. Like, but that was the trick. Really emotional a lot. I was sad. I would cry out of nowhere. So postpartum depression hit. Not expecting this. My pregnancy was fine. I didn't expect for this to hit me like now, you know. But for a whole 6 months I went through postpartum depression, and it was so bad. I was losing so much sleep. My baby, she did not sleep for more than 2 hours every single day. Like, I did not ever get more than 2-3 hours of sleep. It was stressing me out so bad. I would cry every day. And what made it so worse is that she would go to nobody but me. She wouldn't go to nobody. So I had to deal with all of that alone. And I've just been trying to find ways to, you know, cope with my feelings and also be a mother. I have to mother her on top of my son that I have already. So it was just really a lot. My boyfriend, he was there the whole time. He helped me through everything. Yeah, it was still hard. Postpartum is very, very serious. Something that people tend to play with, that kind of subject. Like, people don't understand the severity of that. People have hurt themselves. People have hurt their babies. Me being somebody that has going through postpartum depression, I know how serious it is, and it's no joke. So there's so many things to take into account. Like, mental health is very, very, very important. Like, I can't stress that enough. My daughter is healthy, beautiful. She's growing very well. If you guys have any questions for me regarding this video or anything, you definitely can let me know. Tweet, snap, DM, anything. It does not matter. I'm here to talk. My socials are linked down in the description, so let me know what you guys want to see next.